This is a sort of unusual class today, but I'm pretty excited about it because the results are so amazing. It's indented, it's impressed, it's etched, it's incised. These are all methods that are going to give us this fuzzy, fluffy, feathery look today. You're going to learn how to create margins and rims and edges and borders on your paper so that when you do go over it with color, you're going to create that fur, that fluff, that feathery look. So when you impress, when you press down on that surface, you're going to find different tools in your house that you need to use. A stylus is what we artists use and what we're taught in college and in schools to use. I want you to go ramble around the house, ask permission, but find your own tools. Because this is almost like when you see ice skates on the surface of the ice and they leave that imprint. This is what we're going to be doing on our paper before we add the color. Go get your tools and I'll meet you in the demonstration room. Told you about indented, etched, impressed, incised lines. And there's different methods to do them, but you always need to have that margin, that rim, that edge, that border, which is deeply, deeply impressed in the paper. It's, you know, like I said, like a gash. These are actually papers that are already indented. If you take your pencil and go over the top of it, you will get an impression. We're doing it opposite of this. We're going to be doing this side because what's pressed in is not going to show. It's going to remain the color of the paper. So let's do this. See, it remains green. The other method would be to do it this way, and whatever is popped up, like in a print, becomes the color of whatever pencil. And whatever's underneath generally becomes either lighter or the color of the paper. So we'll move these out of the way. It was just a demonstration to show what are the effect that we want to accomplish today. I chose an owl. Miss Linda likes her birds, she likes her fish, and she likes her owls. This was indented. I can show you the back. You can see where it's been popped out the back. I can't remember what that's called. There is a word for that too. Oh, it's called a bruise. It's a bruise. It's a clever name. These are the colors that I used for it. I limited to myself to grays and two different blues and a yellow, of course, for the beak and the eyes and the claws. That's probably the best way to do it, is to limit your colors. This one I'm choosing grays, different shades and tones of red, and of course the yellow for the beak. This is more a yellow instead of a golden yellow. So I'll put these off to the side. Tools are next. I will get my paper. Miss Linda has newspaper because you do need the best cushion. I am going to also put these underneath it. As you can see a little bit on this one from the first one I did, it actually went through to the second piece. So I'll put these off to the side. All right, say goodbye, little owl. We're gonna have a new one coming soon. These are the tools. I went through the house, and chopsticks. This is a tool to scratch off when you're doing scratch off art, but it's got a great tip. This is a chopstick. This is a wooden pencil. A plastic pencil will break on you. You need something strong. Then I have a different, thicker tip. See, tips, all the different tips you have. And then this one works the best. When I was in school, we used a ballpoint pen that didn't work anymore, but I think those are a little hard to find these days. So get creative, look around, find stuff. I had a blast looking. I was looking for a knitting needle, and then my daughter suggested that what about a crochet needle? And I was like, I have those. I thought I had a knitting needle too. Now, if you're using chopsticks that you got from Carryout, let's see if I can snap these. Ah, yes. They have a decent tip on it. You have two choices. I'm going to move this out of the way. You can get a piece of sandpaper or one of those files, the emery boards for your fingernails. and you can sharpen it. And if you have a really good pencil sharpener, this little guy just wants to pop out today. You can put it in and gently turn it to get your tip. See that? 3 turns and I've got a tool. All right, who wants to see an adorable little owl? I do. Now, I'm not drawing the owl first. I'm going to start out with its beak. Oh, this one might be too sharp. It pulled a little of the paper up. So this is what I'm going to do. Or I could just move on to another tool. If it's not working for you, that's not going to damage. And remember, you're making those deep edges. I'm making a border all the way around it. You see that? All right, here we go. Oh, now I have little pieces of sandpaper and eyes. So I'm going to put a dot where one eye goes, and I'm going to put another dot where another eye goes. Here we go. Around, around, around. Get my eyes right. There you go. About the same size. Now the inside is dark. So I'm going to make sure that is popped up. Anything that's up is going to pick up your color. Anything that pushed down is going to remain right, white. Very good. I'm going to do another. Owl's eyes are pretty important. So I'm going to make these extra large. I'm going to tip this every once in a while so you can see what I'm doing. Time for another tool? Yes, ma'am. Let's try our chopstick. All right, let's give it that owl look. Yes. This one, I'm not that fond of. I think I'll put that off to the side. Let's try a thick one. Let's give it around the eyes. Again, Miss Linda is doing this fast. Feel free to take your time. The more effort and time you put into your artwork, the better the results. Now, I didn't do ears on the other one, and they have ears. And I'm not sure if I could figure out where to put an ear without a little photograph or something to look at, so we'll give it intense eyebrows. You should be hearing this sound when you do it. Don't feel bad if you go over it and over it and over it, because that's just going to ensure that that indentation is going to be very, very intense, because these are your feathers that we're going to be seeing. I think we're going to go a little tighter now. The other one was super fluffy. I think this one's going to be a little more serious. And again, how you do your artwork gives the first impression. You can just tell by the eyebrows, so to speak, that it's a more serious. Let's do a little rounded part here. All right, let's go for the one that works the best. This one you're almost drawing, and you know why, right? It's because it's metal. We want it to look like feathers. So this is not only an indented, but it's a feathering exercise. See, there's always something to learn with each class. This one just doesn't look like the other one. It's symmetry also, so you're going to try to get these to look, let's give it some big, oh, now it's coming together. I'm not sure about the eyes. I think I just kind of want to get some white. Their eyes are so intense. And then, like we've done on my anime bugs on my website, I'm going to put shines in it because that's really important. There we go. You've probably already seen that lesson. So you're way ahead of it. All right, now we need to fluff it out. It's going to look like a mustache if I don't make those a little rounder on the sides. You'll be surprised what happens when you're done. You'll be like, okay, didn't mean for the mustache action. And I'm actually going to do some sort of triangular marks on the outside to define the eye sockets from the body. All right, here we go. I put my finger on the paper always, if you've noticed when you're watching me demonstrate. it's my guide. It shows me where I'm going, and that way I don't go too far out of the perimeters or the idea that I have in my head. All right, let's see. Let's give it a little large head, small body. So what I just did is I gave myself an outline guide in order to know where to stop. Feathers can go everywhere, but the body itself and the wings, let's give it some wings too. I didn't really put any defined wings on my first one. And up, down, up, down, up, down. Feathers and fur are different when you're doing this indented, impressed lines. All right, now I really want to define them, so I'm going to give them big ones. Oh, that's really nice. All right, this is going to be a more tight body. All right, rounded. Again, giving myself a guide. And then do the little claws. So that means let's put this tree limb, or let's see, up, down, let's make it this way. Then you can actually try to create a wood pattern. Let's see if this works. There's a knot in the wood, another knot. This is fun. You might find yourself wanting to go and like make lines everywhere after a while. Just have to do its little belly. And actually these might look a little more oval, which is fine because it's rounded part of the bird. Few more and we are going to get to color. It's your reward for all your hard work. When we work hard on something, we deserve. And then don't be afraid to show it off. I'm always like sending pictures of my stuff or calling my daughters up or asking my grandsons, what do you think? All right, I'm done. Wait, right in here. I want feathers. Colors. I'm going to start with my yellow. Do my little... Now, if I went over the top of them, give it a little more on the outside, it will define them more. This is a really nice yellow. And see what happens? You keep the white around the edge of the nose. The eyes are going to be spectacular. I want them to be dark in the center, so I'm going to make sure that I only get my pencil around the edges here. You don't have to press hard. Remember, go light because you can always go over dark again. But those are some bright eyes, not as bright on this side. Here comes my gray. I have two grays. I've got newspaper here so I can check my colors. Even though they're both gray, they're two different grays. Gently around the eye. Oh, cut my shine. Da, 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 around. Now is when you're going to start seeing the beauty of your efforts. You can always go over your colors. So this is a darker color. I want to start out with my lightest color. This one is going to be, like I said, the red tones. Light color first. You can actually completely cover the bird if you like. This is like magic. This is just like getting, I don't know, a big surprise at the end. Just think about greeting cards, or say you want to send someone a note and you do something like this up in the corner of your paper. Or even if you do it and you send an email and you take a photo of it, it's still going to work. Can you see what's happening? Can you see those lines? All right, back with my finger guide, finger bumper, finger guide. Now, I have a concept of my little owl. Let's test these out. I know what a red's going to look like. Oh, this one's very cool. All right, so that means I want the darker under the eyes. There are still going to be shadows. There's still going to be areas that are darker than what's being touched by the light, which would be the top of the head. So let's do a little bit. This is where you're going to be, I was worried about making it look like a mustache or a beard. And I hopefully put it enough incised lines. I'm changing my color now so that I don't end up with it. Oh yeah. Then the gray's gonna go over this to really give it some depth and dimension. Maybe a little bit right here. Give it a little cowlick. All right, around. And then my red. Red's going to go to help accentuate or make us see the eyes even more. Turn your paper. Almost done here. Get a little gray on the top of this. Accentuate your eyes. Down here, let's accentuate our wings. When you change the color, it makes you see it a little better. A little bit of gray and we are done. I'm going to use the gray on, now this is where you're going to go outside, a little rim outside so you can see all of the details. You'll know when to push hard because the quality of the color will say, like right there, I need to push a little bit harder. The gray is going to pull the entire bird together, and like I said, this is basically outlining it, but I have that rim right there. And we are going to have an adorable, I think I want this darker around here. Taking my time and scrumbling, going around and around. We learned that with our colored pencils, and we learned that with our pastels. Still need a little darker in there. Again, you want curved lines, you got to curve your lines. Outline my little guy, little girl. Little, how about up here? Let's give some more. All right, again, Miss Linda would do this all day long with you if she could. And this is going to pick up a little bit on our, oh, it looks a little like wood. This is something I can imagine everyone's going to want to be doing over and over again. All right, we have our owl done. Look at the different personalities. Little fluffernutter, and I'm a serious owl. So create your own owls in your own way using this indented and pressed method. Find your tools, test them out, test your colors out, and get to work. Wasn't that exciting? Simply putting lines in your paper, indentations, etched lines that create such a beautiful, soft look. I want you to practice with this. Teach someone else this. You can do fur, you can do feathers, you can do flowers in the field. There's no end to this. Practice, and when you're ready, send me your artwork at Instagram or artwithmisslinda.com. Find me, I want to see your artwork.